I'm going to show you how to make a fruit cheese. So similar principles to the cheddar cheese. I have 1.5 cups of cashews, which have been soaking overnight. I've rinsed and drained, and I'm going to blend them up with half a yellow capsicum. The reason why I'm using the capsicum is it adds some colour, it also adds a little bit of sweetness, and it's going to break it down to a liquid to help the blender blades move. Once again, fermenting it with a probiotic capsule, and you could use 1 or 2. Just depends how I feel. So what happens, this has got lactobacillus. Actually, what does this one have? 25 billion good bacteria per capsule. So I'm going for 50 billion. Why not? They're going to multiply. So that's why we leave it 24 hours in a warm environment to help it ferment. And then you're giving the bacteria something to eat. They like sweet stuff. A little bit of rice malt syrup, maybe a teaspoon. A squeeze of lemon juice. And that's it. Scraping down the sides as you go. Then adding my favourite ingredient, the nutritional yeast. One-quarter cup of the yeast. People have asked me, can you use other kinds of yeast? Yeast that you would use to bake bread? No. Has to be this kind. It can be any other brand, but it needs to be savoury yeast flakes. You'll pick them up in your health food store. So I'm just trying to get this really nice and smooth. The last thing I'm going to add is the salt, but I'm going to do that after it ferments. I'm going to place this in a bowl, then it goes in the oven to ferment. So even though it's fermenting for 24 hours, and you're like, man, that takes too long, I've got other things to do. Yes, go and do those other things. Go to sleep, go to work, do your yoga practice. It will be busy fermenting. And then just remember, this is much quicker than a 15-month or an 18-month-old fermented cheese that you buy from the supermarket. And of course, this is healthy, dairy-free. So all good things require time and patience. So scrape out all those last little bits, don't leave them. Or give them someone else to lick the bowl. And then this is going into the oven. To get those last little bits off the blade, a really simple tip, put it on and turn the blades again. No longer on the blades. See, that could have been a whole other slice of cheese for someone that would have been thrown down the sink. Okay. I'm going to put this in the oven. So now we're just going to get our dried fruit to put in our fruit cheese. I grab some apricots, goji berries, cranberries, sultanas. I think they're cherries, but I haven't got any more hands. So you need 1 cup in total. So grab my measuring cup. Now there's different types of apricots as well. These whole ones are actually cheaper. My favourite are the ones that are already halved in the Australian Angus Park. I like that brand. They're a bit more tangier and zestier, but these are fine. You could probably also put ginger in here. That would probably be nice. Okay, so they're my apricots. I put more apricots than anything because I really like those apricot fruit cheeses. My goji berries. Some sultanas. And cranberries. I like to be kind of generous, and I've made that cup packed full of fruit. So that's going in there. Now let's pretend 24 hours has elapsed, fortunately for you and me. I made one of these cheeses yesterday. So it looks a little bit dry on top, but notice how firm it is. It was quite runny when I put it in there. So I'm going to just mix this in with the dried fruit. I'm going to use my hands because I think that's kind of the best way to get it incorporated. And you know, this is a great thing that you could do with children. Children don't need you to go out and buy branded Play-Doh. You can be actually getting them in the kitchen, using their hands, getting a bit dirty, and then they can feel proud that they've created something at the end that they can eat. So functional. I like functional play. It's good. You know how adults say to kids, don't play with your food. I've never said that to my son. Like, why not? Why can't you play with your food? Why not? Why can't it be fun? All right, I haven't added the salt, so I just want to add a little bit of salt for flavour. The contrast between the savoury and the sweet is really quite delicious. And then I'm going to shape that. So this is the tin that I'm going to use to shape it in. You can shape this cheese any way you like. I want it round. So I've got this great little springform tin. I'm going to line with Glad Wrap so that it's easy to get out. Now, another beautiful thing about these cheeses is that you can freeze them. By the end of today, I'm going to have 4 cheeses, and apart from sharing some, if we don't eat them all, put them in the freezer, or they're going to last in your fridge probably for a few weeks. But it is a live fermented product, so the longer you leave it, it will become more tangy. So see how the yeast flakes and the yellow capsicum are giving it that nice authentic yellow colour? So part of the secret to staying on a healthy raw food diet, or even just eating healthier, is making good replacements. So when we make the almond milk, it looks and tastes like milk, so you don't feel deprived if everyone else is having cereal. If you make a cheese, it looks and tastes like a regular cheese. Once again, it's going to feel more authentic, that you're not giving things up, you're just replacing them. So all I'm doing is pushing it in, keeping the shape. I'm going to put it in the fridge to firm up. Because it's been kept in the oven and it's a little bit warm, it's more pliable, great now for shaping, but I want it to be firm when I cut it. Okay, I'm going to leave it uncovered also because I do want it to have a little bit of a rind. The cheeses have been chilling out and drying in the fridge. I'm going to check on them. So leaving them uncovered has allowed them to form a rind, just like a real cheese. So let's look at our fruit cheese. Time to plate that up. I'm going to serve that with some of our crackers. Maybe just a simple nut seed cracker would be perfect. And maybe we'll have some fresh fruit. I love apple and cheese. I think apple and cheese is such a good combination. If you eat an apple like this and left with the core, you're doing it wrong. That's actually how I do it. Apparently, you're meant to eat the whole thing and be left with nothing at the end except for maybe that little stalk. I don't know, give it a try. Let me know how you go. There we are. We have a beautiful raw vegan fruit cheese, completely dairy-free, and let me tell you, it's authentic. Look at that. Look how nicely that's firmed up. It's a pretty big hunk of cheese. That's a pretty big chunk.